Okay, so this is my thorough dive into my experience of loneliness and my current thought of it and my current experience of it. Um, so I'm going to talk about how I got into this state, and then I'm going to share a poem after, and I'm going to talk about it. A poem that I wrote. Not really a poem, just a writing. I guess it's an essay. I don't know. Writing, not a poem. So how I got into this was I was in a relationship with a woman, and I trusted her very much. Um, she, I'm not going to get into what happened because it's not necessary for this, nor do I want to, but I trusted her, and the end of it left me untrusting of her. And pretty much every human being on the planet, besides my best friend, my one best friend, at the time, and I really do consider him my one and only friend, best friend. Now I have a couple of friends, and the rest of them are acquaintances, but he is my best friend. Anyways, I was I didn't trust anybody, so I decided to not. I decided not to try. I sat in my room, my basement, and started focusing on the only thing I could prove was real, like feelings wise, was my thoughts. I couldn't prove anybody else's intentions were real besides my own. And that was the thoughts in my head. My thoughts were, I am the only thing that's real. And I need to focus on me and not care about anybody else because why? I'm looking up, by the way, because I'm reading notes off of my screen. And the poem. Not poem, I keep saying that. Anyways, that's how I got here. To the past lonely me. Now I'm in a different lonely me, but this was past lonely me in the poem he wrote. I'm going crazy. This is my confession later. Letter. I haven't had a good night's sleep in what feels like days. Everyone in my life is falling dead around me, and I don't mean physically. I mean mentally, and I'm now joining them. I no longer have many friends, and I usually sit alone in my room, thinking of everything and nothing. I look in the mirror only to see a stranger, someone looking back at me whom I do not recognize. He stares into my soul, and I stare into his, desiring a connection with him. I know this connection will never fully happen, but I get closer to him each day, and each day I get closer is another day I feel the ever-looming emptiness cloud around my life. Not an empty that can be filled by just anything, but an emptiness that can only be filled with human connection, which I no longer understand, or even really desire to understand. I wish I could find someone like me, which is why I stare into my mirror, yet I do this because I know I cannot find someone like me. My thoughts consume me, and I wish I had another beside me while they do. But nobody can fulfill that role. I'm losing it. Everything that comes out of my mouth contradicts itself, yet it makes so much sense to me. I have a desire to not exist, yet I want nothing more than to experience the world on my lonesome. The voices in my head are my friends, ones of which I cannot trust nor want to. It's strange. I want a person who can just sit next to me and simply exist by my side. I want to know that stranger in the mirror, but I'm scared to listen to the voices of where their truths lie. I want to find the person who can be like me, yet they simply do not exist. My consciousness is separate from my body at this point. I'm losing it, and this is my confession later. I'm losing it, and this is my confession later. I need a human connection, yet I do not desire it. Lonely man, lonely child, my soul, it hurts, it burns, it cries. Help me, in all caps. The next sentence, a silent scream. He chooses not to live within this vivid dream. His thoughts are proven to be real, but not the sight, love, and feel. His head is where he lives. He sleeps not to rest, but play with his consciousness. Pains become a familiar feeling. It doesn't hurt anymore. It's his form of feeling. Crying is his new hobby. Feels good to feel bad, especially when you realize neither exist. So that second part I just read is more of a different topic I'm going to delve into. I'm going to focus more on the I'm going crazy, this is my confession later, instead of lonely man, lonely child. So, this first part, I'm reading it and I honestly feel like I'm reading somebody else's work. I get this way sometimes, my past self, so I guess it's really who I am now, but not much anymore. This used to be me all the time. This person, um, he was incredibly, incredibly sad, incredibly lonely. I could not find any friends who really could understand me. Um, Wanting to know himself. Now, this is another key reason I went into isolation. Or really, I found out more as I entered it. So I entered it because I was scared of people. What I found out was I was also scared of really myself. I literally, in the poem, I said I stare into my mirror. I did. I thought nobody in this world could fully understand me besides myself. And to an extent, it's true. But to another extent, it's not. Because I did not understand myself. I was looking into that mirror and I literally saw a stranger. And it scared me. I saw him and I did not recognize him. And it really tore me up because if I can't even know myself, I thought I can't know anybody at all. And this pushed me into deeper isolation. And I had a weird contradictory feeling where I was wanting human connection, but at the same time, I didn't. I just didn't. I didn't want to get outside. I didn't want to talk to people. I wanted more of a connection with the person in the mirror than I did myself. Than I did other people. And I'm losing it was repeated multiple times throughout this. I really did feel like I was losing it. I was in my head all the time. I still am, just in a different way. But I was like just going crazy with these thoughts. With the thought that I didn't even know myself. These voices were really just my consciousness. And I didn't know. I didn't know who I was. Like, that's what tore me up so much. I got out of this place recently. I'm in a different lonely now. The same, kind of the same, a little different. The loneliness I had then was unhealthy. I didn't know who I was. And I started thinking, and that loneliness was bad because I didn't know who I was. And I've realized that you're never going to know who you are, really. Nobody is. So I started talking to myself as if I were a stranger in my head. Obviously, not out loud, that would be weird. Even in my head is weird, but whatever. I started talking to myself as if I were a stranger and really finding out who I was. And this led me into where I am now, where I don't know the purpose of life, right? That's when I'm lonely, um, and I don't mean, when I say lonely a lot now, I mean the current lonely me enjoys being lonely. I still do socialize, just not much. I mean, I go to school, I'm forced to, and I have friends who want to hang out with me occasionally, so, um, but the lonely past me was bad, like, in a dark spot all the time. The lonely me now understands that he doesn't know who he is yet, and that's why he needs to spend time with himself alone. He wants to discover who that is. That is me currently. And it has really changed my life because I believe in a God, but I don't know what it is. So I'm I guess agnostic. I believe in the morals of the Bible, but I don't really believe in the Bible. I believe in the morals though. Um, but all these thoughts really led me to thinking about that stuff, that God stuff. And it made me currently now, starting as of today, tracking like who I want to be in the future, which is not who I not who I am now. It made me start thinking about like, okay, I don't know who I am now, but I want to know who I'm going to be in the future. So I want I want to start getting to know who I am now. And I started changing my habits as of today. I started taking a cold shower, not like all the way cold, like hot and then cold for a minute and hot, ending with cold, as of today. And I'm going to do it every day. Waking up in the morning at 5 a.m., even if I don't have work, because I work at 5:30 in the mornings when nobody's there. Funny, right? My screen just turned off. And a variety of other things. Eating enough, because I wasn't eating. I've been extremely depressed until yesterday, until today, and I made this channel. So I'm going to get to why loneliness is good and bad, which is what I've been getting into a little bit, and why I'm choosing to stay lonely. In my good way, I feel. So my current loneliness is not all the way lonely, not complete isolation, but isolated enough to where I kind of forget what outside connection is supposed to be. Like, not forget, but like, I'm not used to it, I guess. And that's the type of lonely I'm at. I think it's good, because I only think it's good if you go into it not, like, obviously you're going to desire human connection, but not desiring it to the point where, like, you're so depressed. If you want connection, like, talk to somebody. Like, there will always be somebody like you in this world. And if you go to school, if you're at work, you hang out with people after work, like, just talk to anybody and you'll find somebody with interests like you. If you don't desire to, like, learn really, like, who you are, and you can even find who you are with other people, like my best friend, I do, but they don't really help find who you are. You do that through the thoughts they provoke onto you. You could hang out with somebody who's giving you all these thoughts, but if you can't comprehend, you're never going to know. Which is what I think loneliness helps a lot with, is learning how to live with your thoughts and comprehending them and learning from them and changing who you are from them. Philosophy really comes in a lot when you're by yourself. Really changes your life. So if you're sad about being lonely and are just desiring connection, go talk to somebody, anybody. like literally, it could be a teacher who's a friend, it could be a friend, it could be just some random person. Random people talk to me all the time that I don't know. Um, Not in like a friend way, but more of just a venting way, and then I never really see them again. It's really weird. I don't even really talk much when they do. Um, but you can do that too, you know. Now, that's a bad loneliness, right? Is when you don't want to be lonely. Now, the point I'm at is a good loneliness when you do want to be lonely. Um, to like know who you are. And this loneliness looks like a person who is content with it. Like they can do with or without friends and they won't be sad without them. It's like almost impossible not to have friends, but um like some sort of relationship with a human being, whether your mother, your father, like it feels almost impossible for me at least. Um but they're content with that and they know that they can trust themselves and they really only want to talk with themselves. They want to learn more, self enlightenment, I guess. That's a good lonely. That's where I'm at. I'm not sad about being lonely. Sometimes I am, but when I do, um, I can usually get rid of it by just talking to myself, learning more about me. Um, and both have their, like, it's strange. It's like they're both good and they're both bad because both lead to self enlightenment in one way or another, both the good and the bad loneliness. But one can only go on so long with like the bad loneliness rather than the good one. Um, so my advice is if you're lonely, talk to somebody if you don't want to be. And if you are at the point where I am, you already know that you just need to keep doing what you're doing, keep bettering yourself, keep focusing on you. You don't need to hear anybody else's thoughts, really, besides your own. And keep living like that. Keep growing. Um, Now, I want to exit with a positive note. If you're lonely, you don't have to be. Whether you have the good lonely, like me, where you desire to be alone in a good way to learn more about yourself, you're not alone because you always have you and your thoughts. Whether it's the bad lonely, you're not alone because you have other people who do care about you and want to listen to you, and they will listen to you if you talk to them, and they will be your friends. Yeah, that's all I got. Um, Keep thinking, keep going, you know, keep experiencing the good and the bad. Peace.